Let's go back to that little place.
Hey ladies, welcome back to Create Live Grow YouTube. We have another video with the amazing Dr. Steph. If you didn't see our first video on acupuncture, maybe go back and watch that one first because it covers the basics of acupuncture and what it's all about. So what we're going to be covering today is anxiety. You all probably know from following me that anxiety has been something that's affected me quite a bit in the past, and acupuncture has just been a saviour. I just can't believe how much it has helped me. So I'm so excited to be able to share some of Steph's knowledge with you today because she's so beautiful and she's so amazing at what she does. And she's also going to cover what anxiety actually is, because a lot of us get those feelings but we don't understand why. And then she's also going to talk about how acupuncture can help, and I'm really excited to not only have you share with everyone but learn a bit more for myself as well. So
I'm so excited to be here and have this opportunity.
So what is anxiety?
Okay, so I'm going to start off with chatting a little bit about your nervous system. So you've got two aspects, or all of us have two aspects to our nervous system. One of them is called the sympathetic and one's called the parasympathetic. Now I know that sounds a little bit complicated and complex, but I'm going to break it down for you. So the sympathetic nervous system is otherwise known as the fight or flight response, which is something that you may have heard a term being thrown around quite frequently lately, because most of us experience this in our fast-paced society. So the fight or flight response is something that is instilled in all of us to get us out of danger. So back in caveman days, we may have needed it to run away from a woolly mammoth or a lion or something along those lines to survive. In modern day society, we might be driving along and need to swerve out of the way to avoid an accident or get out of danger. So it's basically a survival mechanism. When we are in fight or flight response, our body shuts off anything that we don't need to survive. So it's like you've got a control panel and your body is so intelligent because it wants you to be well and get out of danger, that it's essentially flicking off all these switches.
That doesn't sound good.
No, well, not in the long term. When this happens, this fight or flight response happens, your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, go haywire. Your adrenaline then rises, therefore getting you out of that situation. Now, when this is happening for a long period of time, that's when you're in trouble. And that's when the symptoms of your heart palpitations, you're feeling sick to your stomach, panic attacks, all of that happens more frequently. You'll find too that your digestive system is compromised, your sleep-wake cycle, so you'll find you're not going to sleep as easily, or you're waking up through the night, your mind's going and overthinking constantly. You might find your hormones are affected. So when I say that, I mean your cycle might be irregular, non-existent. You might not have a cycle at the moment. Your skin could be playing up, sweating, headaches. The list goes on and on in terms of symptoms. So when we're saying this fight or flight response is happening long term, it's because our body can't separate the difference from this situation of survival to these low grade stresses that you might experience. So relationship issues, work things that pop up, traffic, deadlines, social situations that you might feel a little bit anxious about. It can even go down to the smallest of things, such as choosing where you want to go to eat, sending a text message, knowing how to interact with a person or engage in conversation, doing an assignment.
So in all areas of your life.
All areas of your life. So even though we can chat about it and obviously say, okay, running away from a lion or a tiger is so different to submitting an assignment on time, logically we can think about that when we break it down and take a breath and weigh up the two, but from a physical level, your body, you can't tell the difference. So that's where the anxiety can stem from. Now, acupuncture works so well to allow you and your body to switch off this fight or flight response and allow all these switches that have been turned off in the process to come back on again. So your parasympathetic, so your rest and digest, your sleep-wake cycle, your hormones, all of those components can then start to regulate and work
Amazing.
again.
So that's so interesting. I love the analogy of, flicking the switches back on, because sometimes you don't even realize the areas of your life that aren't functioning at 100%, and then when you get back to that good place, you're like, wow, like I didn't even realize that I could sleep that well. Or for example, we're all girls here, so monthly periods, like I was getting some pain with that, and it's starting, like this time I haven't even had Panadol. So it's just all these areas that sometimes you take for granted that are just normal. Exactly. And then you don't actually realize how much better you can feel. So we were discussing particularly around anxiety. Can it be used in conjunction with medications and things like that? Because a lot of people probably are on medication or might be thinking about medication. So because it is an alternative medicine, have there been studies and that sort of thing in that area?
Yes, there have been. There's actually quite a lot of research and time being put into the study of acupuncture, in particular in the treatment of anxiety.
That's
and
so interesting.
The results have been really positive and
great.
Amazing, which is really great. So there's a study that I'm thinking of in particular that compared acupuncture to conventional Western treatment. So that's including pharmaceutical or medication. And it was shown to be just as effective, if not slightly better, because you don't have the side effects associated with many of the medications you can be on, especially if you're on them for the long term. Now, please don't think that I'm saying go off your medication at all. Acupuncture, you need to see your GP and whoever you're speaking to discuss that. But acupuncture can work really well alongside that as well. As I said, the side effects are non-existent.
I was going to say, are there side effects?
Yeah, so it's a really great thing to explore, because I know you wouldn't be listening if you weren't into natural therapies and exploring other options.
That's awesome that you can use it whilst on medication if you are on medication and not have to worry about
any interactions or
anything.
anything.
Because then over time, hopefully, they might be able to move away from the medication side of it.
Yeah.
With consulting with your doctor and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I love hearing that there's studies behind it as well, and it's not just all this airy-fairy.
Exactly. Because as much as you can feel the difference and notice the difference, that is what we call subjective. So that's just noticing how she feels and shifts in how she feels. So it is nice that acupuncture is now stepping into the Western medical, the medical arena, and we've got science and facts and proof, I suppose, to back it up, because some people like to see that. And I mean, I'm a health nerd. I get excited over it too. It's nice awesome to see what we believe on paper. Yeah, it's really cool.
And like you said, it is subjective, but for me, I did go through a stage of using I can't even remember what they're called, but they were tablets that I would take if I knew that I was coming up to a situation that I thought was going to give me a lot of anxiety. It would help slow down my heartbeat and that sort of thing. And I mean, they worked, but you ended up having to take more and more for them to stay effective. And then it would give me side effects like pains in my body. Sometimes they would make me feel a bit down afterwards, because it's kind of bringing you down, those tablets. Whereas and that's not anything I wanted to take long term. So through using acupuncture, I've just noticed like a huge difference, and with no side effects. And it's something that I can use forever. And I mean, less and less as well, because like you said, you kind of step I'm doing it weekly at the moment, but then we'll probably go to fortnightly or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of clients though that I treat love to come weekly.
Yeah,
As you said,
I was
you
about
missed
to
your
say
session
fortnightly,
last
I don't
week. You're like, can I please come weekly?
Yeah.
But the main thing is you need to know it's not forever. Like, we get you to a really good place and you can then choose if you want to come weekly, like most people do. But we can, as we said, stretch it out to what we call maintenance. And it's really important to do maintenance for your body. I mean, we look after our cars,
100%.
service them regularly, and invest time and money in that.
Like, even this morning, getting ready for these videos, I think everything was probably going wrong that could have gone wrong. But I was noticing, I was really paying attention to how I was feeling on the inside, and I was fine. Like, I actually felt like really calm, even though I was a little bit like, okay, like, I've got to get all this done, quick. But inside I was just like...
calm. Well, it's like a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what we were chatting about too, with you noticing the feeling, and you feel different, even when you're not on the acupuncture table.
Yeah.
So it's like it takes the edge off events that would have normally, or in the past, like the old Jess, would have got really worked up over.
100%.
But because you're more in balance and more centered, you can see, okay, things aren't going to plan, but we'll go with the flow and let it unfold. Yeah, and it all worked out.
It did. Always does.
Yeah.
So if you've enjoyed today's video, comment below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment under there as well. We're going to be doing another video on acupressure points, which is some things that you can do at home. So make sure you look out for that video on the Create Live Grow YouTube channel. And if you're interested in seeing Steph in person and actually having a session with her, she works at Oz Acu in Benoa on the Gold Coast. So we'll pop their link below. But as we've said in the last video, there are so many acupuncture therapists around Australia or wherever you're from. So even just jump on Google and Google them. But what did you mention when you're looking for an acupuncture therapist?
Well, this is within Australia, to make sure you're going to a registered practitioner that's gone through all the regulated training, so you know that they're a professional, and they know what they're doing. You could have a look at the AACMA website. So they're an AACMA registered practitioner, and we'll include the information for that. That way that you know that they're legitimate.
Okay, cool. So you go on that website and they have a directory, do they?
Yeah, they've got everyone that's registered within that realm listed on the website there, so you can find one close to home.
And you mentioned also that a lot of acupuncture therapists will specialise in particular areas if you have something that you really want to focus on. So Steph, you focus on women and women's health, which I found was something like that really stood out to me. I found that really interesting. So yeah, if you have something that you specifically want to focus on, maybe chat with the practitioner when you make an appointment and ask them if
they've got a special interest in something. I mean, we have the skill set to treat so many different things across the board, but often you'll find that the practitioner will be drawn to a certain area, whether that's musculoskeletal to women's health.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Me too.
That's okay. Well, watch out for our next video and have an awesome day.